So production tried to throw everything, including the kitchen sink in the season finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta, all to make up for the fact that their failure to protect Kenya Moore turned what was supposed to be their Sweet 16 into an absolute farce, and ended up exposing the pattern of lies that have made up this entire season.
An absolute farce. An absolute farce. I don't even know where to begin. They threw everything in there.
Yep.
Including the kitchen sink. I don't know where to begin, but I will say Angela's event was everything. Okay? In that, Angela and Charles look good.
They did.
They look good together, I tell you. And also, the fact that she brought Kenya's name into it, Shamir, at that event. When she told Britt a thing or two.
Yep.
She told Britt, you pull you know what on people.
You threaten people with...
That's what she said.
With pieces, with blickies. You threaten people with blickies. And my thing is, what was that energy when it came to her doing that with Kenya?
Thank you.
Where was that energy then? Why, when Kenya was threatened with those words, why was everybody like, I don't know, I didn't hear, what, that was it, huh? Everything was
clutching
like that.
Their pearls.
And when Kenya exposed the girl, since production didn't help her, they didn't support her, they didn't go and say anything to make sure that Britt was held accountable, Kenya took matters into her own hands. But now, after all of this mess, and Britt continuing to show more and more who she is, now all of a sudden, you threaten people with, well, where was that energy then? So now I don't care. Now you want to act like, this was so, she been showing y'all who she was since she started messing with Kenya on the first episode, when they first started filming.
Point on. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's ridiculous. And even now, Phaedra did an interview on Hollywood Unlocked with Jason Lee. And she had the nerve to talk about how people are coming on the show with nothing to lose. And then Jason goes back and says something, you mean you could have just stopped at nothing? So people coming on the show with nothing or nothing to lose, and then just doing this, trying to take down who's the biggest there. Now, she didn't mention names, but we know who she was talking about.
That's right.
So where was all of that energy when it mattered, when it counted? So that Kenya would be supported and protected, and you would get the person who had nothing to lose off the show immediately.
Exactly. So the pattern of lies. Because at that event, Angela and Charles' event, of course, Angela was adamant about bringing this man in who she said told her about Phaedra.
Yeah.
The pattern of lies, this turned into an absolute farce, as you said, because now all of a sudden, we got this man sitting here talking about Phaedra is the godfather of Atlanta. I'm like, gosh. You know what? Y'all can go on now. This is some crap right here.
Ridiculous.
And passing envelopes and all that crap. They just turned it into a comedy of
it was Abbott and Costello. Like, who's on first? What's on second? Where's on third? Who? Why is over there? What are you doing?
And
what
Abbott
is this?
And Costello ridiculousness. And then the fact that Phaedra had to deflect and try to bring in Angela's business with this when she was confronting her about that, and she said, but you didn't mention your foreclosure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, shut up. I said, because stop talking about that as if that's her home, okay?
Right.
These are businesses. And that sort of thing happens in business when they're doing real estate. So you trying to throw this up in her face. Hey, how about this? Her man Charles got that covered. Okay, he covered that. He's already covered that. She has calculated her losses and she has moved on. So don't keep throwing that in her face. But we're talking about what you did.
The fact that Phaedra had that ready.
Exactly.
To try to, like you said, to deflect. Because, first of all, we know the whole thing is definitely production was behind it. So we know all this stuff is cued and okayed by production. But They could have had some other, I don't know what type of avenue they used with this little man coming in there. With that, it was Junebug.
Who the hell is Junebug?
I don't know what they were doing, but the fact that they used that to bring out a whole nother little plot.
The pattern of lies that they did with the other plot with Porsha, Kandi, and Phaedra.
Exactly. The fact that her and Porsha want to sit there and act like, why would Phaedra do that? Why would she have any? She didn't have any reason. Phaedra just came in. Yeah, it's the same reason that Phaedra just came in, but immediately she talking about Angela, calling her Charles Oakley's secret wife and saying that she looks old. She's the oldest looking young woman she ever seen.
Exactly.
She didn't have any reason to say all of that.
Exactly.
She didn't have any reason at all. Why did she come in with that? So let's not act like this wasn't something that Phaedra did start. She started picking on Angela.
Yes, she did.
From the get.
It was a double team. It was a double team.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tag team, just like they pulled that mess with Kandi.
Mm-hmm.
Here, the same pattern of lies, the same pattern of debauchery.
Yep.
It was the same thing. So you're going to double team this woman. And yeah, let's call it as it is. Because of her husband.
Yeah.
Sure, there is a jealousy there. And for Porsha to refer to Charles as, oh, but that's Phaedra's friend. No, that ain't no friend. She ain't got no business being a friend to this married man.
And they're not friends.
And they're not friends. What kind of crap
where did
is
that come from? The more they try to act like Phaedra had nothing to do with this. Oh, why would she do that? She just came on. She had nothing against her. It really just proved more and more that it was almost like that strangers on the train thing.
Yeah.
Because what happened was Porsha gave away what she was going to do from before the show even started filming.
There you go.
Because if you remember, we had that clip where she was talking about the new girls that were coming onto the show. And this was way before filming even started, maybe like 2 weeks or so before filming started. And she said, oh, Angela, I don't know Angela, but her husband Charles is everything. I'm sorry, why would her husband be everything? Why are you even categorizing him as being everything? That made absolutely no sense. So she kind of gave the game away.
She did.
From before filming started. So now, pattern of lies. You have Phaedra and Porsha back in season 9.
Yeah.
Attacking whose marriage? Kandi and Todd's marriage.
Yes.
Back in season 9.
Yes.
And they put on this whole show like, oh, during that reunion, Phaedra, you told me that she told you directly. Like, no. And even Kenya was sitting up there while they was both going back and forth. She's like,
I did say that.
Oh yeah, Kenya called that out.
Oh, she
called that out, and it's the same mess they're doing now with Angela.
Yep, because they came and Angela said it right on the money. Because they were like, well, why would she do this? And then Angela said, because of her marriage. You coming against her marriage. And it's the same pattern. They came against Kandi and Todd's marriage.
Yes.
And then they tried to come against Angela and Charles's marriage in this.
It's the
same pattern. So
mess.
Strangers on the Train for season 9, yeah, Porsha didn't have anything against Kandi and Todd that we knew of at the time. Mm-hmm. You know, she was still festering that resentment for Kandi not taking her home with them.
Right.
But she didn't have anything ostensibly that we knew of at the time.
Exactly.
But yeah, Phaedra had aught against Kandi and Todd for whatever reason that season.
Uh-huh.
So it was easy for them to say, oh yeah, Phaedra told Porsha this and wind up Porsha, putting batteries in Portia's back.
Exactly.
And sending her out against Kandi.
Exactly.
So she was getting her lick back on Kandi and Todd with Porsha. But now this season, here we have Porsha, who has something against Angela, because from that comment, she better stop.
Yes,
before she
do that. Oh my goodness.
So Porsha has aught against Angela.
Yes.
And so Porsha went up to her friend, the freaking frat team or the fake and flake team. Mm-hmm. So she went up to her friend, put batteries in Phaedra's back.
Yes.
and then winded that up and sent her after Angela. Because what does Phaedra have against Angela?
Exactly.
See? It's like that strangers on a train thing. And
it's
then they could both hold their hands up in these situations. Why would I do that?
Why would I do that? What does she have against her? Why would I do
that? Why would I?
Who said that? Mm-hmm. A couple of, you know what, up here attacking someone else's marriage.
Exactly.
That's all that it was.
Exactly.
And I am so happy that Britt also showed herself again when she got up to leave the event. Mm-hmm. She said she does not have to be around these. Did she call them lowlifes?
She did.
Did she call them lowlifes?
She did.
She showed herself because you know when she said that, I said, wow, it takes one to know one, doesn't it, Britt? They're just as lowlife as, you know what? Mm-hmm. It takes one to know one. Yep. Because she sat in that and she saw the dynamics between all of them. She saw what was going on. Yeah. And for somebody from one to the next to say that they're low life. Yeah. Yeah. Now you know that takes some doing.
Yes, it did.
With what she pulled on Kenya.
It did.
And she has been the low life of the season. And to see that in somebody else.
Right.
Oh, she saw some stuff. She saw some that was going down. And every time, even on the after show event, and every time you turn around, Porsha is saying something very inappropriate concerning Angela, but trying to disguise it as, oh, she has nothing against her.
Oh, yeah.
But then she slid that in there concerning
the
Angela
anniversary.
And the anniversary. I'm saying, girl, you show yourself every time.
Yeah, that was so crazy because we know that they went to the Grenada trip and it happened to fall on Charles and Angela's 8th anniversary. So Angela chose to go away for the show.
She
for
chose
the anniversary.
that. Exactly.
And then Porsha flipped it around during the after show talking about how bad she felt for Angela because Charles didn't want to spend their anniversary
I'm
with
like,
her.
girl, you lying.
What are you even talking about?
You lying. That was not the case. Angela chose to do that. And when, oh my goodness, I said, girl, if you don't stop this, because every time she opens her mouth, she shows what she is. Yeah. And she's going to slide that in there and say, Angela, she feels so sorry. Baby, Angela does not need you to feel sorry for her.
Exactly.
Angela has a man who loves her, a husband who loves her, a husband who footed her business for her, okay? That's done and taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, and then for Phaedra to try to slip that in there when she was being confronted about the role she could have possibly played in bringing this man to that event. Yeah. She gonna try to throw the girl Phaedra. That had nothing to do with anything at this time.
Exactly.
But I'm glad you brought it out because Angela is on top now. And she's on top because her husband did the thing.
And that was so nice of Charles, I feel, to let that go down at the event for his charity. His foundation.
Oh yeah, they say Charles. Ooh.
Because, you know, I know how it came off on the camera. You know, he was like, get him out of here. But y'all know he was doing that for the cameras too. He was supporting his wife.
He was supporting his wife.
Because, you know, ain't nobody got time for all that foolishness, especially when he's a no-nonsense type of guy.
That's right. That was all for Angela.
To let that farce play out at his event like that.
And these kooky birds, which she tried to call Angela, I think she called her
she's the kooky one.
These kooky birds see it, they know what they see, and they are so jealous of it, and they tried to double team her and mess with her marriage just like they did Kandi and Todd. Mm-hmm. All because these people's marriage is untouchable, okay?
Mm-hmm. It's all because they see something that they don't have. And
exactly.
It's not like they can't get it. It's just they keep going about it the wrong way.
They keep lying and they keep doing the same. What is that thing? Doing the same thing again?
Insanity.
Expecting different results.
Insanity.
And that's what I say to her. I say, girl, you don't have to act like this, Porsha. Why do you act like this? She even tried to bring in Kooky Bird Phaedra's new boyfriend and tried to make herself seen and have some sort of importance in his life. And I was like, Porsha, You don't have to act like this. This is the same old pattern of behavior that is leading to the insanity of you getting the same results, and that is looking at somebody else's husband and wishing you had that.
Yeah.
The same pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
Girl, go sit down.
She takes it out of that book. Is it the Thoughtlandia book?
Oh my goodness.
She takes it out of that book where these women try to make an impression on another woman's man so they can be the topic of conversation between the two. She did it when she made that comment about Charles. So now Angela goes home and says, Porsha said that she...
Girl.
So now here they are talking about Porsha
in their marriage.
In the forefront of his mind. Oh, Porsha can't. She don't know me. Oh, Porsha. Now he talking about some woman he don't even know.
In their marriage.
And then she did the same thing, like you said, with Phaedra's boyfriend.
With Cookie Phaedra.
She said she was tipsy when she saw him someplace. And so she gonna be like, don't talk to me. Because supposedly she thought that him and Phaedra weren't together no more, that he did something to Phaedra.
Still wasn't her business.
She goes and does all this too muchness to be in his mind. And if that wasn't enough, she had to make sure that Phaedra brings it up to him, because later on she calls Phaedra and says, oh, Phaedra, I saw your man, and just tell him she's so sorry because she went off on him for no reason, and she just whatever that was. So now she wants Phaedra to go back to her man and bring her up in the conversation so Phaedra and her man can sit and talk about Porsha. It's a textbook game for Tatianas.
Exactly. And that's what they do. And we have had it. And we say, sit down someplace. Go sit down someplace. That's it. That's all.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.